What's up, guys, and welcome back to White Wolf Friends English. Today we are doing a follow-up video on our phrasals of travel that we just did earlier this week.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these listening practices, we've scripted the questions but not the answers.
Yeah, so let's get started on this natural English listening practice for traveling.
And just as a quick reminder, we're going to use these phrasal verbs that we talked about in the last video, but our goal is not to use every single one. It's just to have them come up naturally in conversation. So if we don't use all of them, that's kind of the point, is we're trying to use it as naturally as possible in a real, natural American English conversation. Let's get started. Okay, so first question. Do you take pets with you on vacation?
I don't bring along anything. I like any pets. Just kids.
Just kids.
Because the kids are enough to handle on a flight.
A better question is what are the advantages and disadvantages of taking your kids along on a trip?
Well, when you take your kids along, I think they learn a lot, including patience, and there's just nothing you can do sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to be up early and...
You just got to roll with it. But this is important, I think, for parents more so than the kids.
Yeah. Like,
the kids need to learn it too, but they have more opportunities to learn that than we do as parents because we live in a day and age where we can control so much.
Yeah.
So those are one of the things, like, I think breaking that illusion of control is necessary, and kids are really good at doing that,
right?
Particularly in travel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in travel, from what we've done so far, it's been really good because the kids, they cling to you more in those situations because they're like, oh, I really need my parents. Like, that's weird. I actually need my parents.
Yeah. Well, and they're young, too,
yeah,
so they think that way anyways. But it's just one of those, it's good for them to know and see us have to deal with frustrating situations.
Yeah, or unknown situations.
Right, because they need to see that in order to learn how to handle that themselves one day. And the best way, I mean, we can tell them all we want, but to show them is better than anything else.
Right. I'm imagining, like, a person who never... asks people for help. They try to travel, and if you never ask around one time at all in your whole travel, like, I would be surprised.
Yeah, they would think you're superhuman, probably. By the time they are adults and have to travel themselves, like, and they'd be like, how did he do this without asking? It's like stubbornness.
I mean, I get planning, but that's on another level.
Yeah. So when you travel to a new country, would you rather brush up on the history of the region or the language? Try to learn some of the language. Try to pick up some of the language.
For me, I think I personally, because I like language more than history, I would rather either pick up some of the language or brush up on the language I already know. So, like, if we're going to, like, a Spanish-speaking country, I studied Spanish a little bit in high school. So for me to brush up on a little bit of Spanish before we actually go to the Spanish-speaking country, I think would be more valuable than being like, what was the history of Spain again?
For me, I'm the opposite. I grew up reading a lot. I was a homeschooler, so I did lots of reading. So I have a lot of history background to draw from. So I think I enjoy brushing up on the history more so I can understand the region and the culture a lot more.
Yeah.
And parts of the language, too. Like, you pick up a lot of language while you're studying history because a lot of words and terminology, idiomatic phrases come from historical events.
Right.
So I enjoy that part of it because I enjoy that cultural part. But I enjoy learning languages, but if it's between the two of them, I would choose the history probably.
Which part of flying do you think is scarier? Taking off or landing?
None of it.
Yeah, I know.
My father's a pilot, so...
Yeah, when I wrote that question down, it was really just for me.
Yeah, so what about for you?
I think honestly it's the landing. Taking off, it's pretty, like, if you've ever been on an airplane, it's very like there's a lot of G's, there's a lot of force that gets on you.
And you understand the physics of it more too.
But yeah, landing for me is, I would say, definitely scarier. You just
What is something unusual you have seen or heard of carried on an airplane? Most
recently, there was a video of a woman carrying on a peacock as a service animal.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what the story behind it was.
This is my carry-on peacock.
Yeah, we were talking to your parents the other day, and they were talking about a dog who pooped on the airplane. They carried the dog on the airplane.
Oh no.
Pooped. So that would be an awful flight.
Yes, it would. Oh.
Stuck in an airplane.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think one of the things is those, like, big traveler backpacks.
Backpacking backpacks.
Right. Like, you know how some people backpack around Europe and stuff like that. They're huge, gigantic.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's my carry on, and they have to check it anyway. Like, come on. The joy of traveling is to come across some awesome things. So what's the best thing? One of the best things you've come across in your travels?
That one's hard because it's a combination of the people and just historical things that you learn. Like we've traveled to Israel before, so just walking in Jerusalem or in Caesarea Philippi or any of these places in such a rich historical place was very, very cool, because for me, I had studied so much. Even you had studied quite a bit from the region. So for us to be walking there, basically in the footsteps of some people that we've studied for years and years, was really unreal.
Yeah.
But then too, when you go to places like Thailand or the Philippines, it's just like anywhere you go that's not America is so much older than America and has so much more history to it. Now, America has a lot of history too, but so much of it is recently compared to other cultures. Yeah. So, and we have Native American cultures, of course, to learn from, but that's one of those things that we just don't have as much information on in our schooling. So for us to walk somewhere that has, or go to China, which has 2,000 years of recorded history, well-recorded history, is really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like, the expression of, like, if the walls could talk, like, in America, it's like, if the land could talk, the history that we would think of, that of like monuments or something like that, it wouldn't be that long. But then, like, when you go to some of those areas, it's like this thing, like this aqueduct or this thing is so much older than our whole country. That's wild.
It's been here for centuries. So definitely the things that you discover or you come across along the way.
I think for me, my favorite thing that we've come across is like random, really, really good food.
Oh, yeah.
Like little hole in the wall shops, so you just like pop in and you're like, whoa, this is really good.
This is really good.
It's always surprising.
It's always surprising. That's the thing. But that's one of the cons to traveling and coming across such fun things, is like you can't ever have it again. You can try to recreate it, but it's just never the same as when you're there and you just come across it that first time.
Right.
So name a time where things just started to fall apart around us and we had to ask around.
Oh.
There's been a few of those.
I remember one time we were trying to find our hotel, and it was in for some reason it was in a really sketchy part of the town, of the city that we were in, and we had to ask around. It was like nighttime. It was like 9 or 10 p.m. We were just trying to find our hotel.
It had just been raining. The subways stopped. And we asked around to the 3 people on the car, and we were just asking, like, can you speak English? Can you help me here? And only one guy could kind of speak English, and we did not speak Mandarin.
And so we just
or Cantonese.
Followed him, and for a while.
For like an hour. We were walking with this guy in the middle of the night, just going through things we could not. For some reason, he stopped using English entirely when we got off the subway.
Yeah, it was.
So it was rough. It was scary.
But it did work out. We ended up finding a hotel, and it was just fine. But man, we've had a lot of times where we've had to ask around.
Yes.
Maybe we can do another video.
I'll have to do a story time. Travel mishap story time. There's a great wealth of phrasal verbs, even some that I've noticed we've said today that we did not include in the video, like to work out.
Yeah.
These are terms and phrases that we use all the time in natural conversation, which is why we do these. I really hope this has been helpful to you guys. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying this, going along with this.
Yeah. If you guys would like to see either a certain set of phrasal verb vocabulary, like a certain context, or you would like to hear more about some other areas that we can use phrasals or anything else, put that in the comments below. We read them, we respond to them. We really appreciate that, so that we can create content that's geared towards you and towards your language learning journey.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.